Hey guys, we're live. should be jumping in at the moment. We should open all the groups. We have Shaun from Movebees here to lead the Connecting with Realtors webinar, and Wade from Two College Brothers, John and Chad also from Tighten Up, Moving Titan Training, Master Movers, Brooks Moving and Calling, and Marcus and I, of course, from Mover Marketing AI. Welcome to the stream, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
How's everybody doing?
Having the best day of my life over here.
It can't be better than mine.
Well, I'm awesome. I'm excited to see everybody and bring you guys some value.
Yeah, no, I appreciate everyone joining in today. I know we're going to keep it kind of short and sweet. I mean, we've got busy schedules, but I brought this meeting out because with dealing with a lot of companies and been talking to them, a lot of what I hear from people is repetitive as far as where they can get more leads. And we all know like lead sources, can be expensive, but also the quality is low. So usually I would ask is, are you networking with any realtors? Do you have any people that you're getting referral partnerships with? And a lot of the time they're not. And I know when I had my moving company, that was a huge thing for me was realtors. And I knew the value that what it was. And I think people just were unsure how to develop those relationships. So in discussing that with other people, other moving company owners, is that I thought it would be really important to have this meeting that people could actually listen to the success stories that you three have had and have a little insight into what you've done to maybe harvest those relationships. And then, what really is brought into your businesses for value. So I know the big one was realtors for me, but there are other ones that we can bring up, apartment complexes, it could be assisted livings, it could be interior designers. So if any of you really wanted to maybe talk about what's worked best for you, and then just give a little insight into how you develop that relationship and really where it's grown for you.
I can start.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll talk about realtors. Starting my business 10 years ago, I really didn't know the importance of building great referral partners. I knew I had to do a good job and, get a good review, but I wasn't like, and I was kind of shy too. I wasn't the one who was wanting to go do realtor presentations for like lunch and learns and things like that and go to these events and whatever. But, over the years, I've realized that that's the most important thing you can do. I mean, I spend a good 25, 30 grand a month on marketing. And if I probably would have focused on building great referral partners from the get-go, I'd be saving myself a buttload of money. So we're hitting it hard now. And it's like the most important thing out there is to get good referral partners. I'm actually in three different, not myself, but my company is in three different BNIs has 30 to 40 different business owners that you network with and you push business back and forth to. And we all know that like if somebody refers us, it's going to book at about an 80% conversion rate, as opposed to if you get a lead off of Google or a postcard or whatever, you're looking at more like 30 to 40 possibly. So things that we do to like really dig our claws in deep with realtors. Number one is like when we get a realtor referral, we have tags on Smart Moving. And one is the VIP crew. It's a realtor move. We must collect a 5-star review. And then number two, after booking the job, we text the realtor, call the realtor and let them know, hey, we just booked with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They said they're having a great experience with you as a realtor. I just wanted to give you my contact information in case you needed to get a hold of me. And if I can make your life any easier, don't hesitate to ask. Little stuff like that goes a long way with realtors. Three, we require our guys to collect a 5-star review on every realtor job. We'll do whatever it takes. I'd rather lose money, do the job for free than have some bad information come back to a realtor. So, and then we'll send that 5-star review out to the realtor. We'll even do a follow-up text or call with the realtor, let them know like, hey, everything went great on our end. did you see anything on your end that needs to be taken care of? I wanted to make sure they're 100% happy. Just going above and beyond and giving that service really blows them out of the water. Another thing we do is we comment and share their listings. We comment on their listings like, hey, that's a beautiful house, on Facebook and social media. Like, hey, beautiful house, love the kitchen, or congratulations for selling that house. Just little things so they see master movers. And whenever they need a mover, we possibly get the opportunity. So another thing like we always struggle with as movers is like, how can we give anything back to the real estate agent besides good service? Because by the time we get to the client, they've already found their realtor. So it's hard to really pass them business. If we could, it would be a whole different ballgame. But what we do is we do a realtor spotlight newsletter. So twice a month, we find realtors that have referred business to us. We give them a call. We say, hey, we're doing a spotlight newsletter. We can showcase a couple of your listings. We put a picture of their face on there and we send it out to our 10,000 clients that we've moved in the past. So just to give them a little value. Something else we do is we sponsor events for the board of realtors. Like we're sponsoring a golf tournament. We put up a tent. We play in the golf tournament. Just any opportunity you can get to be part of the board of realtors. We do lunch and learns. So we go in, we buy like the whole real estate office lunch, and we'll do a presentation of, master movers and how we treat our realtors and why they can trust using us. We also sponsor open houses. So like we have a couple good realtors, referral partner realtors that we work with, and they like to host open houses with finger food and like cocktail hour. So we'll pay for the bar cart and all the booze, and they put our materials up in the house for all the customers that are coming to the open house. We have all our realtors set up on a drip campaign on MailChimp. So we're staying with them. Usually, I think it's every 2 weeks we drop something in there just to stay in front of the realtors. And then we host realtor events. Like we put them together ourselves. We just hosted one for a whole Keller Williams office in Sarasota. We rented out like a Geckos and we bought them all food and drinks. I did a 10-minute presentation and then just kind of networked and got to know them. And we just got a call from them. We're moving their whole office, and it's going to be we're moving them into storage, into their temporary office. And 5 months later, we're moving the whole office into a new location, which is 3 trucks worth of stuff. So that paid off. And then we're hosting, I got with my B&I family, and we're hosting a naughty trivia at a restaurant here in Venice. So just for realtors. I got with like my mortgage lady. I got with a lady that does like blinds and designs and an insurance guy. We all just threw in some money, and we're going to host this event here. But, just trying to make them laugh and break down that barrier of all the seriousness and stuff and like get them to really like you. So we're going to host that. And that's mostly everything we do for realtors. Hopefully I didn't take too much time.
No, that was that was great. And I like how you brought up really getting their barrier down. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's really important that it's not treated just like a business. I mean, you actually create like a genuine friendship that it goes a lot further. The value add, like you said, though, too, is really big because realtors often, I mean, they understand that mover's a tricky one because it's the last person typically in the transaction. So you're kind of putting that stamp on at the end. So it's really important for them to know that it's going to be a good job at the end because that's what their client's going to remember them for. I know from what I've had a lot of questions of people saying like, well, should I offer them money? Like maybe give them $50 for a referral. And in my experience, and I'm not sure if anyone else has had a different one, is that, a good realtor who's got good clients doesn't want $50. They want their client taken care of. Like in the end, that's the most important thing. So your value add is making sure that when they're giving out a referral to the closing attorney, whatever it might be, you're on that list. And then the fact that they can come to that client and say, listen, why you should use me to sell your home is X, Y, Z, plus all these other perks, and you're one of those perks. So
Yeah.
it's important that they feel that way.
And you piss one realtor off, they're in an office with 40 other real estate agents. And they're going to tell everybody. So it's just better to, if you screw up, eat it, take care of it, make sure that they're a raving fan at the end of the day.
Yeah, and vice versa. I mean, if you get in an office and you go for the top 10% and you make one of them happy, people are going to listen to what they have to say. So if they sit there promote in front of their team, they're going to listen to that person who's one of their top agents. If you go for the bottom feeder, someone who maybe sells 1 or 2 homes a year, and they pitch your company and say, "Hey, these guys are great," they might say, "All right, that's cool," but they may not listen for them. So I think for those who are looking to build those relationships, focus on who's really like key players in an office, get in with one of them, and then from there harvest the rest.
Yeah, I actually have my real estate license, so I'm able to go onto the MLS and look at the top producers and like kind of headhunt them and go after them first.
Yeah, they're going to be trickier to get, but once you get them, they're usually very loyal.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Wade?
Yeah, all really good stuff there, Chad. And we do a lot of the same things. I mean, for a company that may not know this, and I don't know the experience level of everybody on the call, but the lunch and learn presentations or breakfast and learn presentations are really good to just get that FaceTime, get in front of them. All you have to do is call the office or call an agent at the office. You can Google their office for the brokerages, and almost every decent sized brokerage, even smaller brokerages, do these where once a week or once a month or biweekly, they'll have, a lot of times it's mortgage brokers, home inspectors, other people in the home services space come and provide a meal for them. And then you just get 10 minutes to do a little talk, a lunch and learn presentation. It's really easy to get your foot in the door. You just reach out, tell them who you are. And you can even offer to take an individual realtor out to coffee. I've had my best personal relationships with realtors resulted from somebody either connecting us or me doing a cold call and just offering to take somebody out for coffee and meet with them one-to-one. For those of you who are in a BNI group, you're supposed to do your one-to-ones every week, but you don't have to be in a BNI group to just do that with people in your community, especially realtors. I mean, realtors' schedules tend to be very flexible, and you can usually get them, pretty quickly to meet up with you. They're always looking to try to promote their business. So if somebody wants to meet them for lunch, or for coffee, then a lot of times they'll take you up on that. That's kind of how you can work your way into the main office to get that presentation. But it's super common practice to do those lunch and learns. One thing that we actually have in our market, and you might want to look into this in your market. If you want to reach out to me directly, I can connect you with who is the person behind this program. But we can actually advertise on the MLS in Tampa. I don't know. They don't have it available on every single MLS, but for like $500 a month, we can put up an ad that rotates with only 9 other ads, and most of them are attorneys or home inspectors, mortgage, that kind of a thing. We're the only moving company in Tampa, and the company's called Savvy Card. It's SAAVY, and it's really just a branding play for the realtors. We do get clicks on it. On our ad, but really when you do stuff like that, it kind of primes the pump for when you're doing that cold outreach, because a lot of times they'll have heard of your company just from logging into the MLS every day. Another thing that I've found to be really successful is to get realtors, give them some free boxes, or you could even charge them for some boxes at cost. And then they can leave that behind at their client's house when they go to do not an open house, but a listing presentation. So when they're trying to get a listing, they're trying to stand out just like we are as movers. A lot of times people are going to be interviewing multiple realtors, and if they can leave some boxes behind for a prospective client, that's going to help them close that deal and create that value for them. And then all of a sudden, you get in with that realtor for when they do get a listing or have a buyer that sells a house, but you're also leaving boxes with your brand on them, ideally behind at a client's home, that client, whether they choose that realtor or not, now they have your boxes sitting in their living room. And so we've got some realtors that take advantage of that. And when those people call us and when they get connected, usually they'll connect directly with me over text, with the client, or they'll send me their number, and those are typically layups. I mean, they book at a very high percentage at our top rates. We don't typically have to give any discounts when you've got that relationship. And like Chad said, it's all about building the relationships. Like just a couple of weeks ago, I took a realtor out on my boat for her birthday. And, I know not everybody has access to a boat, but there's a lot of other things you can do. You get season tickets to your local sports team that you have and take them out to a football game or a baseball game. You can, I know a company that has a Sprinter van that they've got decked out, and they'll auction that off at charities, and then they'll let realtors use that Sprinter van that seats like 8 people, and they'll send one of their movers to drive it to take them as like a chauffeur to, some fun night out. So doing those little things and looking for ways that you can entertain them and wine and dine them is really good. Like Chad said, we've got a newsletter where we do a newsletter spotlight as a way to just create value and get their brand out. But we've also got a lot of blog pages, local city pages on our website that get hundreds of people a month to each one in traffic for things like moving to Tampa or best schools in Tampa, safest neighborhoods in Tampa. And what we'll do is when we meet a realtor out in the community and we have that coffee meeting, it's one of the things that I bring to them and say, hey, we'll put your lead form on this page so that hopefully we can send you some leads when somebody's researching the area if they don't have a realtor, and they really tend to like that a lot. Get involved in their events. A lot of times realtors will do customer appreciation events. I know a realtor that puts on monthly networking events called the Florida Real Estate Network, and we sponsor that for like $250 a month. So not only do we get to go and get in front of all of the people that are coming to their networking event with all these other people in the real estate community and meet other realtors at it, but it's also just we're showing that we want to be involved with that realtor, and we're supporting their efforts on their own networking events. Some realtors will have their own podcasts. They'll have their own YouTube shows. They'll have, and there's one that I was just on. It was a radio show. He buys an hour of airtime and does a Tampa Bay real estate radio show that I go on as a guest a few times a year. So look for those realtors that are trying to stand out and make a name for themselves and go be a guest on their podcast or their YouTube channel or their radio show, or consider starting your own where you interview them. And then another one that we kind of just stumbled upon down in Naples, we just did a $27,000 estimate for but through doing this we had somebody go around to open houses, and like Chad said, sponsoring open houses is a great idea. But you can just walk into an open house that's in your neighborhood or in your town. Look on the Zillow to see what open houses are going on Saturdays and Sundays or whenever they have it scheduled, and go there with a tablet, ideally either a portable printer or some kind of an estimate where you can write it down and quote that job at the actual open house. And a lot of times realtors are just looking for company. It might be slow, especially in this market. And you can just sit there and chat with them inside the person's house and just go meet them and go introduce yourself with some literature. And then if you can work up a quote for the house that they're showing right there on the spot, not only do you have a chance to win that customer, but more than likely that realtor is going to be super impressed that, somebody did that, because nobody's doing that stuff. So, another good idea to get in touch with them is when you have a move and the person still has the for sale sign in the yard, and you don't know that realtor, it came from another source, is take a picture of that sign with your truck, go tag them on social media and shoot them a DM. If it's their cell phone number on the sign, you could text it to them. So those are a lot of things that we do. I mean, there's a million others that you can do, but really it comes down to trying to get your foot in the door, build the relationship, and go deep into some good ones versus a shotgun approach. To where you don't actually build the relationship with anybody. But sometimes, you can use that shotgun approach to get access to those individuals. But, there's a handful of realtors in my stable personally. We also make our entire team a business development team. So it's not just me doing all this. We've got 10 other people in our office that are every single day reaching out to one business development contact. A lot of times it's realtors, but sometimes it's interior designers, mortgage brokers, restoration companies, whoever in that sphere. And if you have 10 people doing it every day for 300 days out of the year, that's 3,000 biz dev outreach contacts, and 10% of them even get back to you. You've got 300 new contacts that you otherwise wouldn't have had. And it's just, coordinated effort across the entire team. So those are a few things that we're doing. And we've seen a lot of success, especially since the slowdown with the interest rates, because you got to get aggressive in this time. And that's been our leading source of business has been repeat referral and affiliate business over the last 9 months. So definitely some, hopefully some takeaways there.
Yeah, that was actually great. And there was a couple points you made. Social media is huge. For realtors, they love spotlight. So when you can put them in the spotlight, they're hugely appreciative of that. So like the whole posting onto social media is really great. That's something that I used to do was when we had our truck or our team right there with that realtor sign, take that picture, and then I'd go into like that that town page. So if it was Mansfield Discuss or Mansfield Now, whatever it might be, put that posting up. The realtors got their name right there on the sign. Our truck or our team is right there, and I would say like, "Hi Mansfield, like welcome the newest residents. Thank you to the realtor's name for helping these clients out. It's been a smooth process. Thank you so much," and just put that post out there. They love it because they're now getting in front of the entire town's page that they just were the realtor for this this transaction. And it was a really smooth one. So it was a good way that took very little effort. It cost them money to do. And the shotgun approach, right? Like maybe use it to net some good ones to work with, but they'll start spreading your name because there'd be times where I get a call from someone like, "Hey, like my realtor so and so gave me your information, and they said that you're amazing." I have no idea who it is. I'm like, "Oh yeah, exactly. That's great. Yeah, let's go with this." And then I'd have to like look through like Facebook and see how they came about my information from another realtor. So it'll grow roots like anything. It will just spread out further. In that aspect. And I know like John and I, when we kind of talked a little bit by email in regards to like other things that outside of like realtor relationships. You had mentioned, I think, interior designers, assisted livings, apartment complexes. Is there any one of those that you found kind of helps you with your business, John?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't, Wade and Chad definitely hit the nail on the head. I can't stress the importance of the relationship, right? When stuff goes sideways, you have to make it right with these clients. And then, one thing I do want to say too, just to go a little deeper for you guys, is when you're doing the outreach, make sure that you're vetting who you're doing the outreach to on the realtor side. Before I get into the nitty gritty, the other stuff, but you don't want to focus a lot of your attention on a real estate agent that does one transaction a year, right? You want to make sure you're going after high producers. You want to make sure you're going after team leads within organizations. And just so some of the stuff that I do is I have a VA that kind of headhunts for team leads within organizations, and we always we'll reach out to the team lead and we'll sponsor them on one of our newsletters for the month as the agent of the month. That's got me in to do multiple presentations within Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, by developing those relationships, and then you really bend over backwards with these referral and repeat or referral customers. So I think a lot of the same stuff really applies in the other verticals that we're talking about: the interior designers, the apartment complexes. One thing that we like to do on the apartment complex side is if we move somebody in an apartment complex and we get a review, we'll try to find who the manager is of that apartment complex, and we'll send them an email with a photo of the 5-star review and let them know, "Hey, thanks so much for accommodating us to be within your apartment complex. And this is what your client had to say about us." And this really gets their wheels spinning of becoming that go-to person. And next thing you know, you've got 3 or 4 complexes that are referring you guys out for either move-ins or move outs. And those can be extremely beneficial for you guys. I do have to say, the nice thing about building these relationships with these types of people is that they're not looking for you on Google. So you're not competing with 6 other people racing to the bottom on price. They've already got the name, they've got the credibility from the person that's referred you, and so they're going to book at a much higher rate and a definitely a price that we can operate on, which is beautiful. Our interior design sector has been really good for us. You can actually go, there's a couple of different scraping tools you can use now with ChatGPT. You can scrape Google My Business, and you can put in interior designers in my area, whatever your area is. It'll pull up a list of all your interior designers, and you can scrape all their data to figure out their phone numbers, whether you want to do cold outreach or if you want to email them directly. and you can say, give them a little shout out, say, hey, so-and-so design, I just wanted to reach out and let you know we just did a big project in X, Y, and Z. One of the designers I was talking to said they're having issues with their moving companies in the area, so I figured I'd reach out if we can ever be any assistance. We do white glove installs, et cetera, et cetera. And that's actually brought us a lot of business from interior designers shipping stuff to our house. We give designers preferred rates. We give them a little bit cheaper rate because it's constant business, right? They're in and out of the warehouse. But on top of that, the real goal here is developing a relationship with the person that you're doing the delivery to, so that, when they come, if they're using an interior designer, typically it's not a $3,000 move, right? It's normally $20,000, $30,000 move. They're big time money. So developing that relationship and having the same crew that comes in and out of there, and really greasing the skids for them and make that client completely happy, so that every time they see you guys, they have a smile on their face. So those are just a couple of things that we do to develop those relationships. And then the last thing is the principle applies to all of these. Every time we get a 5-star review, whoever my contact is for that specific vertical, I'm sending a picture of that 5-star review, a PDF or a JPEG in an email to the referral partner and saying, hey, thank you guys so much. I just want to let you know this is what they had to say about us. And the feedback on that is absolutely wonderful. So, I hope that helped answer some of your questions.
No, definitely. And I would say too is when you're working with some of these and trying to build relationships, is don't get discouraged. It does take time, and it takes a little bit of investment of resource to actually to hook that in there. So with like the apartment complexes, right? I mean, like, it may not be the first outreach that gets them. It may not be the second, and maybe they're already referring another company. But it's the fact that you stay consistent and persistent that eventually there's going to be a reason why they reach out to you. Either they're not using someone, and all of a sudden they have a client that's moving in, and ask them, hey, do you have a company that you can recommend? Oh, top of mind. If they're already referring someone out, that's a mover, and that mover screws up somewhere, you're top of mind. Like, you get that squeak, you get the pass here and there, which is really big. What I like doing with the apartment complexes is I would take a piece of paper and I would print out my information, and I'd do about half a page. I'd cut it in half. So it'd have my logo, all of our company information, and then below it, it would just say, like, we apologize for the inconvenience. Today we're going to be moving in or out, a resident. If there's anything that you need from us, feel free to give us a call. We're happy to help. It was advertising, but I know, like, you can paste that on, like, the doorways, the hallway, right in the elevator if there's an elevator, and leave it up there. It's not really advertising to the naked eye, so no one's going to really pull it down or be mad at you for putting it up there. But it shows that you care, and you got your name, phone number in front of anyone that's coming in and out of that building. So, and it might stay up there for a few days. So it's a great source of, like, promoting yourself without really promoting yourself.
Yeah, I think to piggyback off of that, this isn't really to generate leads, but it's helping not lose any accounts, is like, you really need to train your guys and prep your guys for these high-rise / apartment moves / assisted living moves. It's a different, when you're dealing with like a building full of people, it's a different ball game. So making sure that they're not, pretend that people are always watching you. So no swearing, no yelling, no jamming your music speaker. Make sure we're rolling out floor protection. I mean, some of these high rises that we are in are like $8,000 a month for like a 2-bedroom or whatever. But like, you need to roll out floor protection all the way to the door, all the way to the elevator. So make sure you're equipped for that. Make sure they're always courteous to people. Make sure they're not leaving equipment in the middle to where people could trip or fall. Make sure they're always leaving a clean workspace. Don't have freaking bundled up pads just freaking spread everywhere in the hallway. Like, look professional, look nice. And I mean, who knows, the other company might not be doing that. And you do get your one opportunity to come in here, and then that person sees how you run your business, and they're going to be more apt to recommend you to their clients than other people.
Yeah, and don't underestimate the high rises. Like those can be fantastic local moves. A lot of times, if you live in a big city, you've got a downtown area, you've got all these really bougie places that have gone up over the last few years, and a one-bedroom apartment over there can be a $2,500 move, and it's
More.
fairly or more, and it's fairly easy because there's like hallways and elevators that are what cause that expense, but it's still one bedroom worth of furniture. So you send 3 guys out to it. What you don't want to do is send 2 to those because that's going to make it a very long day for everybody when there are long carries and elevators. But get in with those leasing agents, build out a spreadsheet with all of the nice A-rated. They typically classify commercial real estate like that, like A, B, C rated. Make sure you have all of those A-rated apartments that are typically very affluent people. They're usually spending over $2,000 a month, even for a studio, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6 shots at $8,000 a month. The bigger they get, and the nicer those places and the more exclusive that they are. These people have money, and a lot of times they're renting. So just because the housing market took a dump over the last year or two, pivot your marketing a little bit to not only just network with the realtors, but those leasing agents and those property managers, and bring them lunch and try to do presentations for them, because they're also in the sales game. And a lot of people that aren't buying homes right now because of interest rates are renting. It doesn't mean they don't have money. It just means that they're renting and waiting out the market, and they're living in these places. And a lot of times renters move every single year. So if you can get in there, you're going to be moving them, all the time. And they're good, profitable, high-paying moves from affluent customers. So definitely don't overlook those, and have a coordinated marketing effort to be stopping in there regularly.
Yeah, and a lot of those clients want the full shebang, the full moving service. They want the packing, they want the moving, they want whatever, crating for expensive, nice things. One other thing I was thinking is too, like, I know we have a really nice estimate folder that is all decked out with master mover stuff and client testimonials and moving checklists, but we like to drop one of those off with like pictures of a job that we did, that, like I told you, just like with that protection all the way down the hallway, and the boxes nicely stacked and the pads nicely folded, and just like, and our certificate of insurance, like pass that to the people, the property management people there, and that'll help.
Yeah, and I something I wanted to point out that John had mentioned earlier, that as a salesperson, like sparked my ear, was you can sell higher, right? Like when you buy leads and you're getting cheaper, return on that, you're typically giving up some money to get that person to use you, because you're competing against more people and maybe not selling on a value. But when you have someone who's referring you out, whether it's a realtor or an interior designer or whatever it might be, like they're third party validating you, so that you now already have a leg up. Like I used to love it when a realtor referral would come in and someone would say like, hey, my realtor referred you. Like to me, I'm like, all right, this is mine to lose. It's in my pocket. I have to mess up somewhere to not get it, so I can be more confident on my pricing and not have to give up as much to try to get someone to use it. Because they've reached out to me with the expectation that I am good. Like there's a reason why this realtor is really good. So I mean, having those, it's gonna mean you can book less and make more versus having to go to the bottom, barrel, go for like movers.com or something like that, and buy a bunch of leads at like 5% closing ratio, and have to sit there and slice your pricing to be the same revenue stream. I just found that to be really helpful.
So, Shaun, we have a question here from Michael. How important is it to educate realtors on the moving business and some of the bad actors in the biz? So do you guys ever talk about that at all, or is it just, I'm great and I do a great service?
I think that we educate. Sorry, John.
No.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yeah, I can take that one for sure. I think, I mean, we're in South Florida, so this is like the land of disgrace when it comes to movers and brokers. So that is one of actually our most unique selling points, is that, hey, you're not using a broker. Educating them on people getting hooked on the lower price. I actually just did a post on our Instagram the other day and our LinkedIn about a horror story that I'd gotten back from a customer with pictures of the truck and everything tilted over and broken and damaged, and their price went up 3 times what it was originally quoted at. So it's very, very important to educate your realtors, and that's actually what I focus on when I go in and do presentations. I'm not trying to bring a presentation about my company and how great we are. I'm trying to educate the realtor network on what they should be, telling their clients to watch out for, which is more important than me showcasing our capabilities. So this is a very heavy and hot topic down in South Florida, and the education portion of that is huge. Now, one thing I could suggest, if you have some type of board of directors or any type of organization within your state, for us, it's the Professional Movers Association of Florida. I am a board member on I'm on the board, and so our main focus is to combat these types of people, and so that's a very unique selling point when we're having those discussions with our referral partners of, hey, John's actually, our owner is actually on the board of directors to help combat these bad actors. So it validates the point that we're not one of them. So get involved with the association that you're with. It's a stamp of approval, and it's something a lot of people don't have in the industry because they're so focused on business that, they're not interested in developing the industry. So you can be a figurehead and have that stamp on your chest when you walk into those presentations.
Yeah, no, I mean, hugely important there too. But and if you think, when you as a salesperson is trying to describe, the bad apples out there, or being wary of others that aren't maybe following the rules and regulations that we are as professional companies, is that you're going to listen to that realtor or whoever else is giving that. So if you're able to educate the realtor or whoever's referring you out there a little bit about the good, the bad, the ugly of the industry, people are going to listen up more to them than they are to you as a salesperson, because people kind of get into that mindset, you're just trying to sell me. So if you're able to describe that out there, they can be your advocate as well.
Well, I mean, I have a question, really for Wade, because, well, also Chad, you guys both do a lot of stuff when it comes to connecting with realtors, and you have lots of different tactics. Do you guys have this written out in a system or a process that is then handed to someone to do, and it's being done on a consistent basis? Or is it, when I have time, I do this X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, for sure. We use Trainual, so we've got a whole marketing section built out in our Trainual, and we do daily sales huddles and monthly sales meetings. So if we're trying something out with the team, that's the time where we're going to really be reinforcing that stuff. So like our business development team it's everybody in our office, but especially the salespeople, because they get a little bit of an extra commission if they go out and bring in new business. So that's a big incentive for them to be able to try to build these connections. And so what we'll do in our daily sales huddles is we'll assign each person a biz dev contact to reach out to. So, it takes 10 minutes to send an email, go connect with them on social media, pick up the phone, try giving them a call and a text. If they want to sometimes I got one guy that'll write a little card. We've got like little branded cards that he postcards, like handwritten, that he puts in the mail for them, just to try to connect and get front of mind. If we're out in the community, stop by, especially the people that are near where you live. That's what we really reinforce them to farm their neighborhoods, like realtors farm neighborhoods near where they live. And we just make it a daily effort. One person a day is really all it takes. If they're feeling ambitious, they can definitely do more than that. And then, if they want to go back and follow up with people that they didn't hear back from on another day, they can certainly do that too. But it's in their best interest to make it that coordinated effort, and it's something we talk about on our daily sales huddles every day. So that you just got to reinforce it regularly, because it's easy to get lost in the just the routine of the day-to-day. Just answer the phone when it rings, call the lead when it drops in. But if you reinforce this stuff every day, then, you could have it written out, but if you're not reinforcing it, it's not going to get done. I mean, you got to just continuously train. You got to continuously reinforce. We got a lot of this stuff outlined in our Tighten Up training program too. So you can, if you have that, you can go in there and assign it to your team and make sure that they're watching those videos, because it's that regular reinforcement that's going to turn it into a habit and make it into their routine. And if you don't have that, then it's just going to get put on the wayside and it's not going to get done.
What do some of those marketing materials look like, guys, that you hand over to the realtors?
Well, I described mine. I mean,
yeah, we've got a lot of the same stuff. Estimate folder. We've got several different types of thank you and postcards. We've got trifolds. We've got small cards. We've got larger flyers.
digital emails, realtor spotlight letters, the estimate folders.
Inserts for the estimate folders with like questions to ask your mover, scams to avoid, money saving tips, like those educational things that we were talking about before. And I love handing those out at the realtor presentations. And if I go to meet a realtor for coffee, I'll bring one of those estimate folders to them with some of that helpful information and email them over a PDF. Same thing with the property management companies. So, a lot of educational materials. We got a whole bookshelf full of different tools that people can use depending on the situation.
Sorry, John.
I think some of the most valuable that I've used after going through a plethora of things, right? Pens, and we end up buying all kinds of stuff, is that a lot of times during a presentation for a real estate agent to list a home, they'll do a listing presentation, so they'll have a folder. So within that folder, Wade hit it on the head. You can give a trifold that they can hand their customer out, put them in the folder itself, or you make a nice, single or double-sided PDF, about your company, maybe a moving checklist or a guide, some pictures on the back, how to save money, like Wade said. But this is a very simple thing for the agent to not have to go out of their way to just put in their presentation folder. And not have to work, right, to refer you out. It's just simple. They throw it in there. It's part of their presentation to them, and it's cheap on our side. We're not, wasting money on knickknacks.
Yeah, I got two other ones too that work really, really well are gift cards. Like get a cardstock gift card, like you had a Starbucks gift card for $50 off of a move. And I pass those things out like candy to realtors because they're so easy for them to pass on or use as a closing gift to their client. And they resonate really, really well. In fact, one of that networking event with the realtor, we pay them $250 and then we give them 5 gift cards. It's really like a $500 sponsorship. So we pay half of our sponsorship in gift cards because it's value to them. And we know that, somebody's going to use that gift card for a $500 for a much larger move than $50. It just gets us in the door there. And then the other one is a video. So if you have a YouTube channel, make like an experience video, like welcome to the Two College Brothers moving experience. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can see it. And that's something that we can text out. So if we're trying to connect with a realtor, we can text it to them. But if we're on our way to an estimate, we call the customer to confirm we're on the way. And then we'll shoot them the text of that video so that they can watch. It's like a 1-minute video that they can watch while they're waiting for us to get there, and just kind of prime them for what it's going to look like and really help paint the picture of what the experience is going to look like. So those are a couple good ones there.
I think we answered this question, unless someone wants to talk more about like the value add for the realtor. Like, what does a realtor really get out of our relationship? Besides us providing a good service, is there anything else that we can kind of point to?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to set up some kind of an affiliate program where you help them buy leads or signs or lock boxes or whatever, we've got our affiliate program on our website. There's like a catalog to where for every dollar they refer us, they get points that they can cash out for things that'll help them grow their business. So you can create a little catalog there, and then whenever they say they send you $3,000 worth of moves, it's like credit card points. They get 3,000 points. Maybe that buys like a lockbox or a for sale sign or something like that they can use as a tool. Or if they have a lead source that they like, we've actually paid for Zillow leads and Realtor.com leads for realtors. And in exchange, they use those leads, but then they also send those leads over to us for us to try to use too. So That's another good one, is just buy leads for your realtors that you can also use, because if you're buying leads, you're getting leads for your company. Why not give those away to some realtors?
I haven't tried this yet, but it could work. You could put up the for sale signs for them. We're already running our routes.
I was thinking the same thing, Chad. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they're either paying someone or they're doing it themselves. So, I mean, you can figure that out. I mean, it's something I'd add into the value add is communication. So when I would have realtors that would have, we'll say, a delay in closing, and they needed to obviously let that client know, like, hey, we're going to have a week's delay. They'd reach out and they say, can we reschedule this move for this date? Like, I got to go let them know. And then that way, when they tell that person the bad news, and they're like, oh my gosh, I got the movers know, I got to let them know. They can just say, like, I've already got the movers rescheduled. That's all set. It's all people you want to with that. So it helps them also just relief, give some relief to their clients and being able to handle things behind the scenes before they have to go give them different news.
What are some must-have items that you guys would bring to a lunch and learn with realtors? Is it simple or more conversational, or do you go all in with a bunch of stuff?
I like to do a little raffle at the realtors. So you pass around a bucket to get business cards from all the agents that are attending, and then we'll raffle off. It might be, maybe, we'll have some of our gift cards, but maybe we raffle off a Starbucks gift card or something small, just to encourage them to put their business card into the box. And then you have all those contacts that you can then go back and follow up with. And, the trifolds are great. An estimate folder, any kind of educational flyers that you have are great. PowerPoint presentation, if they let you do that, you could have that teed up and bring your laptop to connect to an HDMI. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I always have a really nice PowerPoint that my graphic designer made for me. It always knocks their socks off. And then we always give them free stuff. Like we have workout shaker bottles, shot glasses, whatever. Everybody wants something for free.
Is there a place you guys would recommend to find a good salesperson with a moving industry background?
Yeah, you don't necessarily need them to have a moving industry background if you've got a good training program and you can get them trained up. That's something that, I honestly, our best salespeople didn't come from the moving industry. We taught them the moving industry, and because a lot of times you'll get people that come in from a van line, or they come in from some company that has a lot of antiquated, practices and bad habits, and they think they know it all, and they're not willing to adapt. So, I mean, I recommend not looking for moving experience. Every now and then you'll find a unicorn that, moved for family reasons, that crushed it in some other market for a moving company. But I mean, you could always reach out to Winston Davis for stuff like that. He's a placer for people just like that. But I think network with your competition too, because sometimes somebody will be unhappy with where they're working, and you keep losing estimates to that person, and then they come over to you. But yeah, I like to honestly find people that have the qualities that I want in a salesperson without the moving experience, and then teach them the moving experience through our training programs.
Yeah, our best salesman came from the furniture store industry. He was selling furniture. He sells like $2 million a year for us, and he's been the best sales guy we've ever had. And then my phone sales girls, they've never done sales, and they're crushing it. My one is booking like around 40% of all of her calls. But we do train regularly. Like we do tighten up training. We watch 3 to 5 videos a week, and then we have a sales meeting once a week where we review those things, and then we stay on track of what we need to keep pushing and keep getting done, business development side too. So,
and those daily huddles, if you're not doing them, are a great place to do a little 5-minute training. Whether it's watch a video, do some role play, like you do that every single day. It's so important to train your team daily, though. It's like taking a shower.
Yep.
Got another question. How deep do you guys explain the moving process to realtors?
Oh, that's a good one. We go extremely deep. We try to tell them all the different, pricing models and how things look from from a fixed flat rate to a long distance move, typically whether it's in cube or weight, or the hourly model, right? And sometimes I'll whiteboard it out for them so it makes sense. But getting them to understand that and getting them to understand why the inventory on when they're gathering multiple estimates is huge. And you show them the process of how this works and the man hours or the space on a truck, it all really starts to make sense to them of how the wool gets pulled over their customers' eyes when they say, oh yeah, this is 500 cubic feet and it ends up being 1,700, right? Well, yeah, your estimate says 500 cubic feet. You didn't even know what that meant until it's too late. So we go extremely deep on educating the realtors during that presentation about the bad actors and the different pricing models of local, long distance, fixed flat rates and by cube.
So last chance for questions, guys. I don't see any more unless anyone else wants to jump in. Shaun?
No, I mean, I know you guys both, or two of you at least, brought up the Titan training part of it. Like, I just started watching some of those, and I mean, it's been really an eye opener for me. I think I didn't realize how much time and effort you guys really put into that whole program. So I'm actually enjoying it. So, like, to kind of listen to you guys talk about it, and now to kind of start actually putting it into play as I'm watching the videos.
Yeah, and Shaun, like, the reason why we created that is because, at least I know for Wade and I, like, we struggled our butts off the first 6 years of running our moving companies. Like, I was pretty much planning to shut the doors, and it wasn't until that I started marketing with other moving company owners that were much further along than me that everything kind of clicked for me. And I finally saw like the path I needed to take. So I can't stress like marketing with other moving company owners that are further along than you. The best way to get to where you want to go and skip making all those freaking mistakes is by getting in good with people that have already done it and letting them shed some light on you and being a listener. Don't be I already know everything kind of guy. I was a penny smart, dollar stupid. I wasn't spending money on marketing. I was doing furniture deliveries, which I wasn't even making any money. I didn't know my numbers. I thought, hey, bring in as much money as you can, spend as little money as you can. That's a recipe for death. Okay. So that's why Wade and I started the Moving Titan Retreat. And I wish if I would have had something like Tighten Up Training when I first started my moving company, it would have saved me 6 years of my life and probably a lot of these gray hairs that I have now. So I wish I could go back in time and that was there, but I'm happy to pay it forward to all the guys that really helped teach me all these things and make me the business owner I am today. And now we're sharing that with everybody else. So it's definitely super rewarding. And I know we're making a lot of people a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, the value in the network, the retreat, the Moving Company Owners Unite page, there's a lot of different resources out there that are really great for us, but there's multiple different verticals within the moving industry. I never came from the moving industry. And so, my first delve into all this was Louis Massaro, and just getting in the room with people that were smarter than me, and been in the industry for a long time. I was able to get into different verticals in the industry a lot quicker, right? Because I had the answers that I needed for local moving. I could call somebody up that now we're buddies. And then I had a commercial buddy of mine now, I call him up and say, hey, I got some questions about commercial stuff. And trying to figure it out on my own, I would have been spinning my wheels for 5 years trying to learn this industry. So that network is so important, and having those people to call on that are giants around you, and they're fun to then get your families together. You end up drinking beer together and having a good time, right? So, or whatever your forte is, but your network is your net worth, and it's so true.
Sorry, Wade. But coming from like that background where I used to have a moving company, and I had those fights for all those years and hit that plateau and just never crested it, like just never took it to that next level. And then now, since selling the company, I'm on a different side of things. I'm looking on a totally different perspective and not in that seat anymore. I see things so much differently, and like how I wish I could have gone back and changed it. watching some of these videos, talking with you guys. And like you said, like never be the smartest person in the world. Like sit around people who are smarter than you. You're going to just absorb so much more. So, I mean, I wish I could roll back time and kind of implement these things, 10 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the number one thing that, I mean, I spun my wheels for 5 years before I discovered Louis Massaro. And that was the number one thing that turned my business around, was getting into the room with all of the people that were there that I'm lifelong friends with to this day, that formed the spin-off mastermind meetups that ultimately turned into the Moving Titan Retreat, but also just the playbook that Louis laid out early on. And it's like the lights flipped on. Like it was the answer I was looking for. And seeking out that mentorship from people like Eric Works and, other moving company owners that are so much farther along. I like to always say you should spend 30% of your time with people that are ahead of you, 30% of your time with people on your level, so you can push yourselves to take it to that next level. And then 30% of your time helping other people out below you, because it's that law of reciprocity. You never know how that person is going to develop and be able to help you out. It's 90%, then 10% of your time to yourself, working on yourself and training yourself and becoming the leader that you need to become to be able to lead your organization.
I appreciate it. I very much. I know we're kind of getting towards the end of the hour here. Was there any other questions anyone else had, Nick?
No, I think we're good.
All right. I won't chew you guys time up anymore. It's really special for me. Like, I know, like I said, being in this industry before, being a part of like the Facebook group and like really just kind of watching you guys really in that group, it's special for me. So I really appreciate you guys being a part of my first webinar.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thanks for having us.
Putting it together.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys out in Tampa.
Yeah.
Tighten up.
Either second to the fourth. We'll be there, buddy. I'll see you at the workout, 6 a.m.
We'll see what that. Is there anything else that you guys want to add in before we cut out?
Thanks for everybody for coming. Yeah,
I got one thing, Nick. I'm sorry. This is a very important business lesson, probably the most important lesson I've ever learned in my life.
There we go.
Right when you're about to quit and you're ready to give up and you don't think you got anything left, just push a little bit farther, because the good shit's right on the other side.
It's always darkest before the sun comes up.
Right.
That's it. I put my personal information in the chat too. If anybody ever needs any advice, I'm always here for you guys. Happy to help. I wouldn't be where I was today if I didn't have people to reach out to. So that's my direct cell phone, guys. Feel free to call me, ask me questions. I'm happy to help however I can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
If you guys want to come to the retreat.
Yeah, I hope everyone that's watching out there, hope we get to see you in October.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for coming.
Take care, guys.
Bye.